Sometimes we make mountains out of molehills around this town. There are things that people grab onto, there's players that they grab onto, and they turn it into something. And they're trying to make it out to be bigger than it really is about the role on this player, signing this player, or, dare I say, decisions that fall on your head coach. Everybody has talked about play calling. Everybody has brought up, well, is Ken Dorsey going to call plays? What's Kevin Stefanski going to do? And Mary Kay Cabot, the great Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com, shed a little light on this yesterday with her article on Cleveland.com. The decision has not yet been made. But one thing that Mary Kay said in her article kind of maybe thinks that maybe they're leaning towards giving it to Ken Dorsey. I don't know. It's been this back and forth. And the ultimate question that we will ask this morning, do you actually care who calls plays for the Cleveland Browns? Does it actually matter to you who calls plays for the Browns? We got that. We got the Cavs. Yeah, baby, let's go. Ugly, not a great win, but a win is a win. The return of Darius Garland, just ripping off 4-point plays like you never missed anything. We're back in action tonight for another Typico boost to get rolling on that. We got more shirtless quarterback pictures. We got time up. We got the morning update. We got our bracket of the week with an upset in the most overrated musical artist of all time. We got it all for you right here on Big Play. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Matt Fontana. He is Ryan Tyler. Not overrated over there is Ryan in the very least. Welcome to the show, everybody. Happy Thursday. Was that the sun I saw this morning? Is that what that thing is?
Did you see it? I didn't see sun.
It was popping out for me a little bit. Popping out a little bit. So we're coming through it on a beautiful Thursday. We'll get to the Cavs coming up. Today's a big day for the Cavs to see if Jared Allen makes the All-Star team. That gets announced later tonight. So we'll talk wine and gold. Again, a nice win over the Pistons last night. They're right back at it tonight down there in Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. So we got another savory Typico boost. It's not your fault, Ryan. It's not your fault. I blame myself.
Oh, I didn't bet on it.
Oh, see, look, it's not your fault. Our boost didn't hit last night. Are you back on the train? Are you going to bet tonight's boost?
Yeah, now that it lost.
All right,
see,
the
reason
Ryan
was
has
because I didn't want to
streak.
be the reason that the streak ended. So now that the streak's ended, it's okay, let's start fresh. We'll, maybe if I can get a win under my belt to start another streak, I'll feel really good
For
about
those that don't know, we were on a 3-game Cavs boost win. And then we also won on the AFC Championship game. And Ryan was claiming we were only winning because he didn't bet on it. Last night, our boost, frankly, didn't even get close because I'm the dumbass that said under, and they hit the over about in the third quarter, it seemed like. So we didn't hit. Ryan didn't bet it, so now the Maloik is back off, and he feels like he can bet with us, so we'll do that with Typico coming up a little bit later in the show. But we start Browns this morning with Mary Kay's article last night on Cleveland.com. The biggest thing out of this is, number one, she says Kevin Stefanski is still deciding if he'll call plays this season or turn the chore over to new offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey. So on that alone, we had questions as they were going through these offensive coordinator hires. And if they were going through these interviews, letting these potential candidates know, or not potential candidates, they were candidates, potential hires, I wondered if they were straight up telling them, no, Kevin's going to call plays. Don't worry about it. And if that maybe turned off some of the top people or how they approached it. Well, obviously, that's not the case. If they still aren't decided at this point, they were going into these interviews, leaving that door open. Now, reading through what Mary Kay had to say, it sounds like they want to see how Ken Dorsey plays it out for a couple of weeks, how it goes out for a couple of months. And they don't need to make this decision right now, today. And I frankly think this goes in line with who the Cleveland Browns are. They are very analytic. I know people hate that word. They're very smart. They're collaborative, right? And that was the other thing, too, that I saw a lot of these things, too, that this was a collaborative hire. This wasn't just, hey, we're forcing Ken Dorsey on you. This was everybody was in on this hire with Ken Dorsey. But they sit down and they get a lot of people's inputs, and they make the right decision. So with that, how could you make the decision not really knowing who Ken Dorsey is, or let's see what he's got in the meeting room? I'm sure a lot of days are going to be spent kind of going through all of this. That is the right approach. But make no mistake, the default is for Kevin Stefanski to call plays. I want that to be made very clear. As they are starting this process, there is no way that today Kevin Stefanski is your play caller. Tomorrow, he's probably your play caller. If you had a game on Sunday, Kevin Stefanski's got his Denny's menu sheet out there and he's calling plays for you. What they are opening the door to is Ken Dorsey to change that. Again, over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months. And if that happens, great. And it goes back to the best interest of the team. If I had to place my vote, I still think Kevin Stefanski's going to call plays. What they want to do is not make decisions in a vacuum. They don't want to make ill-informed decisions. Again, with how smart the Browns are, with how they approach things, one of the worst things you could do is make an ill-informed decision. They don't want to do that. So they want to let Kevin Stefanski get to know Ken Dorsey and kind of figure all this out and then make the decision from there. Now, you posed an interesting question before the show, Ryan. And your question was, who is making that decision, right? I will say this. It had better be Kevin Stefanski. Because if this decision comes down from anybody else, we got problems. And I don't want to go back to the dysfunctional era that the Browns have had. I don't want to go back to years past. But that is one of the biggest signs of dysfunction. When people are making decisions that are kind of out of their realm, when it's going good, really in any business, but it's certainly in the NFL, what do? You hire people and you trust them to do their jobs. You put the right people in place and you leave them alone. It doesn't mean you're not there for support. It doesn't mean that you're not there to help out when you can or oversee things, but you let them do their freaking jobs. This is Kevin Stefanski's job. Part of his job is his coaching staff and deciding who's calling plays. So I think it's a great question to ask, Ryan, and I hope, and I truly do believe, that this will ultimately be Kevin Stefanski's decision. With all that being said, do you actually care? Do you actually care? As a fan, we'll put this out this morning on Twitter, X, at Matt Fontana Show. Drop us a follow there. Approaching 500 followers there. We're up on Twitch, Instagram, which has always been hot and heavy. I'm getting back going on my personal Instagram, my work Instagram, at Matt Fontana ESPN. That's what I had. I'm not going to change it. So you can catch all the collaborations there on IG, but also at Matt Fontana Show on IG. Do you actually care if the Browns, who calls plays for the Browns? And I see one side of it. Yes, this is massive. This is huge. The biggest teams, the best teams have good play callers, and they have, you're calling plays for an NFL game. A bad play caller can ruin that. I know bad players can too, but a bad play caller can ruin games. I get that. You say this is massive, this is huge, this is great. The other side of it is, I don't really care. And you could come with the standpoint of, maybe it doesn't have the impact that you think, or frankly, you're sick of it. You're sick of it. You're sick of these discussions and this conversation about what is best for the Cleveland Browns, and just get the right people in and you'll figure it out. And I can understand that. The default that I have and the comfortability that I have is you have a guy that can do it in Kevin Stefanski. I believe Ken Dorsey can do it as well. And Mary Kay talks about that a lot in her article, right? He was there. He turned Josh Allen around, runner-up for the MVP. In 2022, the Bills ranked second in both total offense and points per game. And then in 2023, the first 10 games, the Bills were fourth in total offense, eighth in passing, and sixth in points per game. But the problem was Josh Allen was turning the football over. I found this line extremely interesting from Mary Kay's article. The Browns believe Dorsey was a scapegoat for the Bills' woes, and Stefanski wouldn't have any qualms about letting him call plays. That is the line right out of Mary Kay's article. The Browns believe Dorsey was the scapegoat for the Bills' problems, and Stefanski wouldn't have any qualms of letting him call plays. And Mary Kay continues. Stefanski will likely take the next few months to mull it over, see how the two work together, and determine who is best suited for the chore. The key with the Browns is more so the actual play calling than his preparation and game planning in the new look offense. If they get that right, game day should be a breeze, and the actual voice in Deshaun Watson's ear won't matter as much. So just on that maybe leans towards our Twitter question of, no, it's not that important. And yes, what Mary Kay is talking about is the really Tuesday through Friday, the install, the game prep, the walkthroughs and getting all that set. So then when you go into Sunday, you got your scripted plays, which Deshaun Watson's not a big fan of. We got what we're going to run, what we like this setup for. But I can't just dismiss it that easily. When you watch some of the decisions, and I know everybody's jumping on Dan Campbell from the NFC Championship game, the in-game play calling is an art form. It's a hard thing to do. The scripted plays are one thing. What happens when you're in the third quarter and it's a close game and it's a 3rd and 5 and you're trying to quickly call the right play based on what you saw earlier, based on what you prepped for, and you got to know the ebbs and flow of the game, the momentum of the game, all that's, it's not an easy job to do. And Kevin Stefanski has said that in interviews before. He goes, you get done with play calling, you are mentally exhausted from doing it because it's not an easy thing to do. And you tie in the being the head coach and other decisions, and sure, it's not an easy thing to do. So, I mean, deep down, does Kevin Stefanski want to keep continuing to call plays? Is that something that he really enjoys doing? I don't know. And then you factor in he's got other responsibilities on the sidelines and all that kind of stuff. I think he's leaving the door open for Ken Dorsey. And this is just me. Here's how I think this is going. They want to leave this door open for Ken Dorsey to come in and say, I'm going to call plays. They want him to kick the door down, bust the hinges, and say, I'm taking this job. And you can feel good about me calling plays here, and you can feel all right of giving me this giant, important role on this team. I think that's what they want. And if that doesn't happen, well, then we're going to go back to Kevin Stefanski calling plays. The one thing, though, you got to make the decision now. I'm not saying tomorrow, but I'm saying before you get to minicamp. We've seen the off seasons where you go in with questions or what are we doing here? I need all of that cinched up. And again, they have plenty of time. They have plenty of time. I would say you have almost 2 months. You get all of February and a good chunk of March before you get into veteran minicamp. But I'd like that decision to be made by then, because it just helps Ken Dorsey get into a flow. It helps decide what are we doing here. And right now, the biggest thing I would imagine, they're trying to pick Ken Dorsey's brain on what are we going to do to fix this offense and fix Deshaun Watson. That's priority number one. Get Dorsey in here, have him unload all of his thoughts and getting this offense to where it needs to be, and then we can cross the bridge of getting who the play caller is.
Matt, before I ask you this question, does Kevin Stefanski 100%, no doubt in your mind, get this extension?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
that being said, how much do you think that the fact that Kevin knows an extension's coming, how much do you think that factors in maybe his willingness to give up plays, given that, okay, they know I'm the guy here for the next couple of years with Deshaun, but then you could flip it on the other side and say, well, that doesn't necessarily matter because if this Deshaun thing doesn't work, Kevin's as good as gone.
You want to know who I thought of when you were explaining all that? Brian Dable, right? If you were in Brian Dable's shoes, and they came to you and they're like, hey, man, we might want you to give a play calling. You go, all right, well, I'm one step away from the edge here, and I'm one step out the door now, and I'm not going to be around. You bring up a fantastic point. That's a confidence. That's cachet that Kevin Stefanski has where you can sit there and be like, dude, I'm extended now. I'm good to go. And I don't think that's wrong if that enters Kevin Stefanski's mind, where maybe he was against it for so long because he needed to prove some things, went out, 2-time coach of the year, 2 playoff runs, all these different quarterbacks. Maybe there is a different level of confidence in him to be able to give this up. Now, I think that's a fantastic point. I do. And I believe that he would have been open to it because we asked him about that about Alex Van Pelt year in and year out. Literally the last 3 years, I think we've asked over and over and over again in training camp and in minicamp, are you going to call plays? And he always said, as long as it's the right thing for the team, I'm going to keep doing it. That was a veiled guard thing of like, I think I'm best at doing this. This is what I'm going to do. Now that you're extended, it's almost like a promotion, right? It's almost like we're now Kevin Stefanski is getting promoted to a level where you're like, all right, I don't have to do that anymore. And it's an important thing. And I think Browns fans would be understanding enough of it that they'd still have confidence in, because you want to know what in another time, in another world, if you took away play calling from Kevin Stefanski, there would be groups of Browns fans that say, well, what the hell is he here for? Well, what's the good of having him here if you take away the one thing that he does well? I'm not going to lie, I was in that camp for a long time. But now Like, all right, there's obviously other things he does to impact the game. And there's other things that he does to help. And I want to go back again to what Mary Kay said here about the preparation in the week leading up to the game. Kevin Stefanski's still involved. All week, he's going to sit down and go through these things with with Dorsey. Are we still looking for a quarterback coach, by the way? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, well, have the Browns came out?
No, am I missing that they've announced Ken Dorsey? Am I wrong on that? Have I missed that? I don't think so.
I checked yesterday, and Van Pelt was still on the roster.
I know. I get the emails from the team. I haven't seen anything. So there's that.
Is that strange to you?
Not necessarily. I mean, okay. If I could put my conspiracy hat on for a second, they want to make all these moves in one fell swoop. Because have they announced Deuce Staley?
No, it's Stump Mitchell still on the roster.
Okay. So and we're just going on
McCartney.
We're just on the Browns website. And maybe, again, the IT people might be busy. Maybe they're on vacation. I don't know. Maybe, the website people, who knows? But they probably want to do these all in one fell swoop. So maybe they're waiting for it to shake out. That it sounded like Alex Van Pelt has said his goodbyes. But maybe there's a world that they go, hey, if you're not going to pick up a job here, why don't you come back and just be the quarterback coach? Now, the AVP can say stick it where the sun don't shine. That's fine. And it sounds like he might want to move on. But maybe they're waiting for all that. But you still need a quarterback coach too, which is going to be massive in this. So that's my point is when Stefanski in the week is going to sit down, he'll still have that input. He'll still have that help throughout the week. And then on Sunday, it's just going to come down to the play call. I'd love to ask him that question. I'd love to ask him with a little truth serum, which I call whiskey. Kevin, is play calling really that important? And I say that, and does that not sound loon? Doesn't that sound crazy for me to go, is play calling in the NFL really that important?
A little bit.
Because, you just run power right 15 times in a row. The intricacies of the game are immense. We've all played Madden. We all played NCAA football, right? Oh, it's X. Oh, recommended plays. Great. Why? I'm in. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. So, on Sunday, when they get the prep done and they get everything ready to go as they are, maybe that's where Kevin wants to live now. Maybe he's fine with that. And I don't want to get into the conversation of the scapegoating. Not necessarily about Dorsey, because, again, Mary Kay's saying they scapegoated with the Bills. We've had this conversation before. What is easier to flip? If you come to November, things are stagnant, things are not good, what's easier? Going Stefanski to Dorsey or Dorsey to Stefanski?
I think we differed here.
We did. Because I will always maintain, I think it's easier to go from Dorsey to Stefanski.
Oh, I think that's what I said too, no?
Is it? I thought that way because once you start taking that away from the head coach, I think that's harder. I think that's tougher to do because you're still you're the head coach, taking that away from.
Yeah, no, I agree with you then.
All right, so we agree.
Because it's easy.
I thought we did differ. Did we flip on that? Did I flip on that?
We can go look back and look. But because my reasoning was right. It's easier to then go ahead and if you transition, you start Dorsey, then you go to Stefanski. It's almost easier then for the Browns to say, okay, it's easier to say it didn't work out with it. How do I put this? It's easier to admit you failed there giving Dorsey the play calling than you did saying it's harder to say Stefanski failed, I feel like.
I mean, the thing is, there's more built-in, I don't want to say deniability, but you could go with, dude, Dorsey just got here, this was hard for him to do, and we're going to take it back. Because the other thing, the Browns, make no mistake, it's go time. I mean, the one thing that we have discussed on the show over and over again, we're talking about how they're going to approach this offseason from a personnel standpoint, but even from this play-calling standpoint, I don't have time to screw around. The Browns have no time to sit there and waste this season away. So if it's not going well with whoever starts out, there will be that question. That is going to happen anyway. When you bring in a guy like Ken Dorsey, who's got experience doing it anyway, it's always going to be reignited. For 4 years, we just got shut down on Alex Van Pelt calling plays over and over and over again. So it really became a moot point. Now it's the conversation. For the first time, truly, in my opinion, since Kevin Stefanski has got here, this is a legitimate conversation. because you have somebody new in the building. Mary Kay's other part of her article, which I wanted to get to. She says, like the 4 other OC candidates, Dorsey did not require play calling as a stipulation for taking the job.
Oh, so she knows that.
Well, she's putting it in her article. And I would say she's as well connected as anybody.
Yeah,
so I believe there's no question.
That's interesting. Wait, so
again, I want to read this straight from her article, Cleveland.com, Mary Kay Cabot.
Can you reread what you just read for me real quick?
Like the other 4 OC candidates.
Okay, so she's saying Andy Dickerson needed play calling.
No, Dorsey didn't require play calling.
Right. So she's saying Andy Dickerson did require play calling?
No. Dorsey and all of the candidates didn't require it.
Oh, I thought she said Dorsey was the only one.
No. I'm sorry. Like the 4.
Okay.
Okay, so
my bad,
Brian Johnson, Andy Dickerson.
That makes more sense.
Kellen Moore.
So
they all came in here and said, I don't need to call plays. But would you not say that in an interview? You're also trying to get a job.
But why would you skip around that bush if you get the job and then you're like, no, you know what I mean? You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
You're not wrong. I think for some of them, for like Gerard Johnson, who had I don't want to say the pick of the litter because where's he back? He's back in Houston now. Got a pay raise, sure. But like, in a job interview, you're right. If this is a big hang up for you on the job, you're probably better off sitting there with your potential employer and going, yeah, I got to have this.
Is that not super shocking Kellen Moore would have gave up play calling?
No.
Why?
Because I think, again, I want to almost put away.
But this isn't
he's going to be out of a job, man.
Who?
Kellen Moore. I don't think he's going back to L.A.
No, he's already going to Philly.
Oh, he is? When did that happen?
Like a week ago. He's Philly's OC.
Really?
Yeah.
When did I? Wait a minute.
Yeah, dude.
Seriously? How did I miss that?
Yeah, he's Philly's OC.
I didn't know
he's taking over for Brian Johnson.
By God, he is.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I can't believe
How the hell did I miss that?
I can't believe that Kellen Moore would come over from LA where he called plays for 2 teams and say, "Oh, Kevin, you can call plays." I can't believe that.
Oh no, I do. Because I think it's about the standing that you're in. Like when you're out there and you need a job, you're gonna listen to everything.
But there's no way he.
But like, I guess here's my point. If you were, I think Gerard Johnson, who again, according to Mary Kay, didn't require this, he is the one that I could believe would have the footing to be like, nah, I want to call plays.
See,
here.
I would.
The rest of those guys are out on this, like, he had other jobs lined up, it sounded like. But like, Kellen Moore and Brian Johnson and who am I missing on that?
But Kellen Moore's a little different because the only real reason he's out, I think, was because of the Harbaugh. He's going to come in and get his own coaches. But there's
still out of a job.
But with success with 2 teams, both the AFC and NFC for over half a decade now, there's no way he knew he wouldn't find a landing spot. He was the talk of the town.
But still, I think going into this saying like that's not, because that sounds like you're making demands. And I'm not saying that in job interviews, when you sit down with people, you don't make. You got to have a layout. What's my job?
But that's different for a guy like Gerard Johnson,
that's my point,
who's never called plays.
But he's an ascending guy. And the thing, I guess here's my point.
But not like Kellen Moore.
He could be, if you're not going to let me call plays here, I'm going to go find a place that I can. Some of these other guys couldn't say that.
Yeah.
They couldn't say, like, I'll go find somewhere else because that's probably not happening. Now, lo and behold, what happened? Bobby Slowick didn't get a job, and Gerard Johnson's back as the quarterback coach at Houston, not calling plays. I know we got a pay raise. They both did. They both got a pay raise and a new deal, which is part of this too. Don't forget that. As these guys go on these cycles and things, that's really just kind of coming back to the employer and going, all right, you know my value now. But I just look at it. That doesn't shock me. That doesn't shock me that the OCs came in here and said, nah, man, I don't need to call plays.
The one for me that does is Kellen Moore.
Yeah, he's not here. And he's going to go call plays in Philly.
Yeah.
So it kind of.
I just figured that was why.
Nah, I think you want that. You want to discuss all of those things. So in the initial interviews, with some of these guys only got one interview. So when they sat down and they were like, "Hey, here, I'm gonna play this out. We're gonna act like we're in the room, right? Okay. You be Andrew Barry or Paul D. Podesta interviewing me, OCX. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. Ask me the question.
All right, you're here. Listen, our biggest issue right here is we have to figure out this Deshaun Watson thing. Tell me, what do you see? How do you fix this? What do you envision you coming in here
I was
and
going to ask
changing?
the play calling thing. Yeah, I know Watson, footwork, or whatever. Ask me the play
Do you feel like to get this job, you would require play calling?
I would like to call plays, but it's not a requirement. So therefore, in essence, I did not require it. I could say I'd really enjoy that role. I think I'm prepared for that role. That is my goal in the NFL one day, but I don't require it. I could just very heavily lean it on you and heavily imply that I want to do it, but I don't have to make it a requirement. Because the other thing, they still have to accept the job. That's the other part of that. So me as coordinator X guy, you asked me that question, do you want to call plays? And I say, I'd like to, but it's not a requirement. And then they offer you the job and say, we're not going to give you play calling. You go, you know what? I appreciate the offer, but I'm going to go elsewhere.
Let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this: as an aspiring guy like Kellen Moore, who's had so much success, and I got to imagine eventually, obviously, once you get to the top of that totem pole, which is a head coach, right? So, how much do you think that honestly kind of plays into a decision to where they decide to ultimately go and be the OC? Given that, let's look at the situations. I think Kevin Stefanski's job right now is a whole lot more locked than, say, Nick Sirianni, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you think they think about that as, okay, I'm going to go here OC, things go south for another year, but I maintain the offense and I prove I'm a good play caller? Shit, they might just promote me internally.
I mean, the flip is, where do you see the majority of NFL head coaching candidates come from? Good teams. So I would think that if I was in that situation, I'd rather join a good... So the question is, would you rather join a good stable team or a good unstable team? Because you're right, you have a chance to ascend and get that interim role. Don't forget, Dan Campbell was the interim head coach for Miami for a little bit, and he got that little taste. I think he might even been the interim for the Saints for a little bit, and now all of a sudden, look, him there. Sure, it's different, I think, if you're a play caller or not, right? If you're a guy that you have a direct, easy path to show people, this is what I do as a play caller, you're most likely going to get that job. But you look around, why was Mike McDonald hired? Why did he get that Seattle job? Because the Baltimore Ravens defense was amazing, and they were really good, and they were a good team. I don't know so much about... I'm going to take Dave Canales out of that because I think that nobody wanted that Carolina job. Nobody did, so they went and got him out of Tampa Bay, right? But you look, why were all these guys... Again, Ben Johnson, why you talk about? Because they were on good teams. I think it goes further when you are just a part of a good organization, because as a hiring team, as what a franchise wants to look for, you would want a coach that's been around success. It's in my opinion.
That's Kellen Moore, though.
I mean, relative success. Would you say the Chargers have been
okay? But that's 1 year, and their offense wasn't the problem in the middle of the season. And then Herbert got cooked. But Mike Williams was out.
That's kind of missing my point. Has he been around really good head coaches? That's kind of what I'm getting to here. Like, when you look at Kevin Stefanski coming out of that Minnesota tree, Mike Zimmer was really good as a head coach. Like, there was tangible things. I think more Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry came out of the Philly, and I know he spent time in Indianapolis and they've been everywhere else, but when they plucked Andrew Berry, Howie Roseman, look at that team. I mean, that's kind of my point is you want more guys that are coming from successful trees. You want guys that are, that's why everybody jumped on Belichick people, because they go, man, look at all the success. And they fell flat on their face. I know. But I look at around the NFL and you're trying to find guys. There's that element of, now, I'm going to hurt my own case here for a little bit. I'm going to detract my own case here. Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan are who they are because they're damn good, smart play callers.
Yeah.
And they got that crack at doing it.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
They got that crack at doing it.
That's what I'm saying. If Kellen Moore came to the Browns, I would have said, yes, I want Stefanski to give up play calling. Because I believe in Kellen Moore. I
can't sniff that rose, man.
So tell me why you don't think that.
I look at, the offenses have been good.
But that's his whole thing.
I guess we're splitting hairs on two different things here, because if you were talking about just running the offense, yeah. If you want to get into the point, if you're sitting about maybe taking over the role as head coach and all that.
But we don't got to worry about that.
I know you're right. I'm taking it to a place that you're not. You're right. You are right. But the OC job for Kellen Moore, yes, he ascends at that. He's really good at it. I would have been fine with Kellen Moore. And honestly, I would have been fine if he called plays. Folks, I'd be fine if Ken Dorsey calls plays. I want Kevin Stefanski to call plays. I think he's better at it. But if he himself, who I do believe will make this decision in the right way for the team, and that's hard to do because that's self-sacrifice. Self-sacrifice is one of the toughest things that anybody can do. that anybody can do. And you would be asking him to self-sacrifice one of the biggest things that he does. Isn't this great to say? I believe in him. I believe him to make the right decision, even when it's self-sacrificial. Even if it was taking away the one thing that maybe he loves doing or the one thing that he knows the best. I believe Kevin Stefanski will make the right decision. I believe in Harvey Dent. And I believe in Kevin Stefanski.
We saw how that went.
What, in The Dark Knight? Yeah, it didn't end well. Did you see the end? Not
Well,
good.
He died a hero to them.
I guess, yeah. My ace up my sleeve is Harvey. What did you do? What did you do?
Bro, no, the best part of that movie is Joker comes in as a nurse and he takes off his mask as he doesn't have
you had to take
makeup
the
on.
mask off to realize that was a Joker.
He starts flipping out.
That scene is amazing in The Dark Knight. That's a great scene in The Dark Knight. Hi.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
When I was Rachel. I just do things. Oh my God, I want to go watch
The
Dark Knight.
quotes from that movie,
it's
dude,
great.
unbelievable.
It's awesome. The worst part of all of Christian Bale's voice thing was when that actual scene when they're on top of and we've derailed the Batman. I'm surprised they don't do it more. When they're on top of the building,
yeah.
And it's like the last fight before he goes to Two-Face, and he's sitting there, he's like, this town just proved to you there's all these good people. And that is so cringe. That voice is so bad. The first one was fine. Then they changed it. Just all bad. All bad. And Christian Bale's birthday week, by the way, because we did the other day.
Happy birthday, Christian
Heard on
Bale.
that. No, I think when you talk about giving it up, I believe in Kevin Stefanski to make the right decision. And that is powerful stuff. That is important stuff. That I believe that Kevin Stefanski, in the ultimate, all be done said things, he's going to make the right call for this team. And it's going to take this time to figure out, man, what do you see here? What do you do here? And talk to Ken Dorsey. Because okay. We have got to have this conversation. Would Ken Dorsey potentially have a little PTSD from calling plays on how bad it went in Buffalo? I don't know. I just like that because we are sitting here, again, from Mary Kay's article. Dorsey and none of the other OCs said it was a stipulation that they had to call plays. What if you sat down with Ken Dorsey and even he goes, you know what, man? I don't even know if I want to do it. Like maybe I tried it. It didn't go well. I'm here to help this offense, and I don't even want to do it. Just leave that. I'm not saying that's true. And you're right, Ryan. There's a world of ascension, and there's like in the NFL, it's like, okay, you do this, now you do this job, and eventually you climb your way back up. Maybe he's right back, but who knows? He wants to jump right back in that saddle. Maybe it went so bad in Buffalo that he's a little scarred by it. I just want to bring that up as a point. I'm not saying that's true at all, and Ken Dorsey might be chomping at the bit to call plays. But it might not be that simple. It might not be that easy just to lay it out and go, all right, he's going to take this over. Maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he's fine just sitting back being the OC. There have been coaches before that have said that. And, Bill Callahan even mentioned that a while back, where he said, dude, I had my run as head coach. I tried it. Wasn't really quite my thing. Greg Williams. Talk to Greg, right? Former head coach, former interim coach. I'm assuming coach, I can't ask him. He's not here today, but still, I'd imagine there's a world that he would just go, you know what? I just want to be a DC. I had my chance at that. I did it. Maybe it wasn't for me. And there's no shame in saying that you're just a really good assistant coach or a really good coordinator. You got your taste. And maybe Ken Dorsey says, I got my taste as a play caller, and that's really not for me. Or I'm not ready to do it yet. Because I would also believe this. As much as I'm talking about Kevin Stefanski being self-sacrificial to make the right decision for him, I'm going to need that for Ken Dorsey. If he doesn't think he can do it, or if he think, then you know what? Kevin, I don't even want to entertain this. You're going to call the plays this year. And knowing that maybe this will change at the end of the year. Maybe a year in. I don't know. There's just a lot of it. And it comes back to our Twitter question earlier this morning, right? Do you actually care who calls plays for the Browns? About 60-40 people say no. Cujo. I don't care who call plays. You could have the mayor from the Powerpuff Girls call Mojo Jojo. I just want to win. You had that same mindset this morning. Like, dude, I just want to win.
Yeah.
I just want to win. It doesn't matter. But the thing is that it's important. It's important to have that role. It's not the end-all, be-all. And I just trust the Browns are going to make the right decision. All right, I got a lot more Browns to get to, but we got to catch a break because we got to talk Cavs. We got to get into the wine and gold last night. We'll get to our typical boost coming up. We got to get some morning update, and there's going to be something in the morning update. I don't like doing this where I stand up on a pedestal or I stand up on this desk and I go, I told you. But I got a little piece of that I will tell you about next. We'll get to that coming up. Got the morning update. We got to get to our bracket as well. The most overrated musical artist of all time, Travis Kelce's girlfriend, not going to advance, it seems.
Nope.
She
shouldn't.
I frankly think she shouldn't.
I like her
come
music.
on. Let's go. So we got a vote at Matt Fontana Show. I'll hit the retweets on those again this morning as well. So you can vote on that everywhere that you need to go. But Ryan, for a little bit of good luck, can we get to it before we get to break?
Typical boost?
Yeah! Woo! Let's go.
Plus 280 they boosted
All right,
it
a
to,
little
Matt.
smaller one today. All right, we got off the we last night was just a bad one. That's all right. But we still have hit 3 out of our last 4. We're back in action tonight for the Cavs with our Typico boost. A nice little modest 3-legger. We believe, all right, Evan Mobley back, feeling good, over 10 points. Just 10 points for him, over 9.5. Then one of the little secret sauces to our parlays are the blocks. We've been making it on Brooke Lopez. Yeah. We'll go under Jaren Jackson blocks. Do you want to know the statistic that I love about that, Ryan?
Let's hear it.
He has not had multiple blocks in almost a month. The last game that Jaren Jackson has had multiple blocks goes back to January 5th. So the block totals look good because he's getting fat off of it. But it's not been the case recently. We need that trend to continue. Just under 2 blocks, and we'll go with the nice, easy Cavs money line tonight. Could be a little hangover. That was a tough game last night, which we're going to talk a lot about coming up. Don't know if I really like the spread. I'm just now hurt on the over-under because I picked the under last night, and it got thrashed bad last night. But there's our boost, folks. Get signed up with our friends at Typico using that code Fontana100. There's a little groundswell of people getting on our boost. I know Nick was going back and forth. Somebody's like, oh, who creates these?
Yeah, I saw that.
We do. We make these up.
Because he had a good point, because I don't like betting the boost that the book picks out themselves.
Sometimes people can get jaded with that because they go, oh, the book wants you to lose. And that, folks, I tell you this, and here I'll do you one better. You really love a leg for a game? Tell us, and we'll put it in the parlay. I don't care. Right?
I think that's the best part.
That's it. So if you ever, for a Cavs game, for whatever, you really like a leg of a parlay, tweet it at us. Please tell us what you like, and we'll throw it in there. Hell yeah, we will. Ryan and I create these. We own these. We own the wins and the losses. So we're on it. We want you to win. I want to win. You want to know why? I put my own money on this every morning. Right now. I'll do it in break, but right now, I'm literally going to log into Typico and put my money on this boost. I want to win. That's what we want to do. Code Fontana100 when you sign up. Deposit and bet $25 on whatever you want with that code, and you will get $100 in bonus bets. It's that simple with our friends at Typico. We love them. They're the best. Get on with our boost. We'll roll on. Got to talk Cavs last night. I got I don't want to say hot take. I've been getting hot takes all week. I loved that game from the Cavs last night. And I'm going to tell you why. Next. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Cavs, nice win last night as they take down the Pistons. Didn't cover. There's one thing I take away from that game. We'll talk about it here. Welcome back. Fontana Show right here on Big Play. Get in our Typico boost. Told you about there. A little three-legger tonight for the Cavs as they take on the Memphis Grizzlies. So last night, it was pretty apparent that you got everything that the Detroit Pistons had for you. They had to do without Mike Muscala. He got a concussion. He had to leave out. But Gallinari's showing up. Watching that game, I'll tell you this. You want to know what I really liked, Ryan?
What'd you like?
The Cavs won when you got your best shot. Now, the Pistons suck. They are horrible. I think Cade Cunningham is good, and he showed up there. Started off slow, really slow, and then started to warm up late. What I liked about the Cavs was this. You better start preparing that you are going to get your best shots from these teams. And I know we bet, and we have fun with that. In the grand scheme of it, I don't care. A win is a win. And in this now Eastern Conference that is maybe starting to open up just a little bit, are the Bucks frauds? Are the 76ers frauds? I mean, dude, who would ever thought we could get up to the 2 seed? And I could try to make the case for that today. I really could.
Yeah.
A win is a win. I love that for the Cavs. Where, did the Cavs play a perfect game last night? Not necessarily. But you look at it and you say, they matched the intensity. I get there are people that want to say that they took the Pistons lightly. But at the end of the day, you kept scoring with them. You could have rolled over and said, you know what, tonight's just not our night. And we're on this great win streak. This is great. And they still gutted it out and found a way to get a win. Now, for tonight, that's another question on this back-to-back. But, Ryan, I loved seeing that from the Cavs. I loved seeing this team fight to get a win because they had to fight to get a win last night, and they did that. Again, against the Pistons, who are not a good basketball team, I understand all of that, but that was a gritty win, and I loved seeing that from this team, where it's easy at times when everybody's singing your praises and they're throwing you roses because you beat this team and you beat the Clippers and you're on this streak. How about when you got to get down in the mud a little bit and you got to fight and scrap it out against the team that only cares about their lottery pick now? How about that? And you found a way to gut it out and get a win. I'm proud of the Cavs for that. That's my biggest takeaway from this game yesterday. I was proud to see the Cavs get a win like that. Now, you talk Donovan Mitchell. I know Reflog. I almost screenshot the same thing he did. It was on Bally's. Another 40-point game. He only trails LeBron. Is that not insane? He's been here for 2 years. That was his 11th 40-point game as a member of the Cavaliers. You needed somebody like him to say, all right, I'm going to go ahead and lead us to a win here. Because really, everybody, Jared Allen, another double-double. I know he was sick. Darius Garland just lighting up 19 coming off, the injury and all that. I loved seeing it from the Cavs last night because, Ryan, they had every excuse to lose that game, and they didn't.
Yeah, I don't know if Jared Allen apparently only had one peanut butter and jelly sandwich that whole day because he couldn't hold anything down,
really?
I suppose.
Damn.
And he went out there and put up another double-double and, quite frankly, helped them get the win really much.
I'd sit him tonight. That's maybe why I like Mobley over the points tonight. I'd sit Jared Allen tonight. But Garland seems fine, and Mobley, I know, still kind of on that semi-minute restriction there. The thing is, you've afforded yourself, if the Cavs lose tonight in Memphis, that's fine. You know what I mean? I want them to win. I think they're going to win. I'm placing my bet on my Typico boost that I think they're going to win. But with that win last night, it showed me a little grit. You got to have grit when you're playing a good team. That's a different level. I'm talking about the grit when you need to put a team out of their misery. And there's a team that gave every ounce of effort. Because you got to remember, these are still NBA players. There's still something to write home, I guess, about Detroit. But I was really happy about the Cavs. I was, that they were able to get that win because Pistons gave them everything they could. Cavs could have rolled over, and they didn't. Tonight is a big night. We'll find out the reserves for the All-Star team. And, Brian, I'm a little conditioned that Jared Allen's not going to make it. And that, I know, bothers you a lot. It bothers me to a point. But I also look at it from this. I think he's going to make it because Joel Embiid's not going to play in that game. He's got the knee contusion. He's going to have that MRI. Did you see Ben Simmons got hurt again, by the way? Talking about guys that get hurt. I think Embiid's going to miss out. But does it bother you that Allen wouldn't make it named? You know, like an alternate. People sometimes get wrapped up on the alternates. I know people got really upset. Who's the one? Oh, Baker made the Pro Bowl over Jordan Love. They don't like that. But do you get wrapped up? We know Jared Allen should be an all-star. You know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. But does it bother you if he wouldn't make it straight up here tonight?
The only reason that it would bother me a little bit is because like it's different for the starters, right? Because those are voted on by the fans, and like a guy like Halliburton, who you could make an argument shouldn't have got it, but like it's in Indiana, the fans, that he was getting it all along, and that's how it goes there. But
Sure.
like the reserves, we know are voted by the NBA coaches. These are the guys that are supposed to know ball.
They're supposed to know more,
better,
right? They're supposed to look just beyond stats and box scores.
better than
All-Star.
anybody on the planet. These guys are supposed to know ball, right? So if they don't see that Jared Allen deserves it, I mean, that blows.
So here's my thing. Yes, I want Jared Allen to go because I think he deserves it. Ryan, the Cavs deserve 2 All-Stars. That's my biggest issue on this whole thing. The Cavs are one of the best teams in the East. They deserve to have 2. I think the Bucks, I look at it this, and I know it's only a 12 team, which is still stupid that there's only 12 guys on the All-Star roster and whatever. But, of the top teams, you should get multiple. Right? The Knicks probably deserve to get 2. The Bucks certainly deserve to get 2. The Celtics deserve. I think the Cavs, as a team, as an honorable thing for the team, deserve to get 2. And I like that the NBA is not like baseball, where not everybody gets an all, because again, you'd have so many players on that roster, and that'd be too insane. So yeah, there are teams that don't deserve anything, and even the middle of the pack teams, like Jimmy Butler, right? He's going to go because he's Jimmy Butler. I get it. And the NBA All-Star voting, like any All-Star voting, is very name-heavy, and maybe the most name-heavy of any of the sports in their All-Star games. But for where the Cavs sit, it's actually more of an issue for me that the Cavs wouldn't get 2, because I think they deserve to get 2. I really do. And it would be Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell. Dude, I didn't even want to tell you the article I clicked on this morning. So I was on, I always check, I check a lot of websites as we get ready to go. You want to do Zach Lowe's ballot, by the way, for the All-Star game?
Yeah.
See if you guys dare know. But do you want to know the article that I clicked on this morning? Somebody was making the case about why they think Donovan Mitchell should make the All-Star team.
Why do we need to make
Why do we need to make a case? He's an all, I get it. Like, I just thought it was weird that I clicked on an article this morning that said why Donovan Mitchell should be an All-Star. And it's also from Zach Lowe. I mean, it's part of Zach Lowe's article, but it was like, why he thinks because he should.
Because we have eyes?
Yes. All right. You want to do his picks for the East? So we know the starters. Halliburton, Brunson, Tatum, Antetokounmpo, and Joel Embiid. Okay. Joel Embiid's injury replacement, according to Zach Lowe.
Let me guess.
Yeah.
Pascal?
No.
Julius Randle?
No.
Dude, I saw a graphic that they considered Jaylen Brown a big.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's got him on this as a guard.
Good, because I was like, that made no sense.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I thought you said Jalen Brunson.
No, Jaylen
Brown. I mean, technically, he's...
No.
You're talking about... I'm sorry. We're
big?
so confused. Yeah, I'd look at him as a small forward. I'm about a big.
That's what I'm saying.
So, okay. Injury replacement for Embiid, he gives it to Derek White of the Celtics. I know.
Okay, well,
I get it. Okay.
Low-key Derek White been hooping, though.
He does have Julius Randle making it, but he's not going to play. He's got the shoulder, right? It's the shoulder that he's out with. And his injury replacement would be Trae Young. How would you replace a forward with another guard then?
Yeah.
Here's Zach Lowe, and I respect the hell out of Zach Lowe. His reserves, Donovan Mitchell, no issue there, obviously. Tyrese Maxey, no issue there. Jaylen Brown, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, Dame Lillard, and Paolo Banchero would be it all.
Dame's a starter, isn't he?
No.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, maybe this is just Zach's.
Dame's a starter.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is just Zach picking his.
Okay.
So his starters were Halliburton, Brunson, Tatum, Antetokounmpo.
Yeah, because Brunson's not a starter.
Right. That's right. His reserves would be Mitchell, Maxey, Brown, Adebayo, Randall, Lillard, and Banchero, even though you're right, Dame Lillard is starting. He writes, Halliburton, Brunson, Mitchell, and Maxey have been the 4 best guards in the East, with the Maxey trailing the first 3 by a hair. Halliburton has missed some times. There's no magical game limit here. I wish I had more here. Okay. Mitchell and Brunson are very close. Mitchell has the edge in scoring volume. Brunson has shot better from threes. Advanced stats barely lean Donovan Mitchell over Jalen Brunson. And this is a case where gap in minutes, Brunson has logged 400 more minutes, or 400 breaks the top. 400 more minutes. That can't be right. He says both are locks, but you think Brunson gets the nod over Lillard and Max and Mitchell. Okay, here you go. The reserve ballot from Zach Lowe requires 3 of the remaining top 5 spots to go to front court players. So here's your problem. Don't look at it as bigs. It's front court players. So a 3, 4, and a 5. That leaves only 2 more spots for guards, where the candidate pool is the deepest. There isn't much of a difference between my front court choices. Adebayo, Julius Randle, and Jaylen Brown. Then there's the next group. Paolo Banchero, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, and Jarrett Allen. I wouldn't argue too much on a combination of any of those 3. Advanced stats favor Barnes. The Siakam and Anunoby trades muddied the process. I'm trying to find if he's got anything here for Jarrett Allen. I don't see he has any write-up here about Jarrett Allen. Hardest decision-making. Okay, that. Dude, he's got nothing here for Jarrett Allen, which is kind of crazy, which makes me feel like, dude, this isn't going to happen. Lillard, Banchero, yeah, Franz Wagner, whatever, fine. Pascal Siakam again, okay, fine. Yeah, man. He doesn't even do a write-up about Jarrett Allen here. He's got write-ups about almost every other guy about why he thinks they should make it or not, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, you want to hear what he writes about Jaylen Brown? This is right up your alley. You ready for this? Time for the Jaylen Brown conversation. He's a tad overrated. He's averaging 22 points a game, down 26 from last year. Advanced numbers frown upon him due to his unreliable decision-making. Those advanced numbers paint him as a mediocre, sometimes inattentive defender for Jaylen Brown. Zach Lowe's got nothing on Jarrett Allen making it. Again, he writes of this group, he would be fine with any of those guys. Man.
Donovan's going to be lonely.
Well, okay, so on Zach Lowe, again, Embiid and Randle are not going to play. He's got a forward in Derek White, which is fine. But again, okay, so let me talk about that for a sec. That would then give the Celtics 3 All-Stars. And again, they're the best team in the East, maybe the best team in basketball, but like, they already got 2. In this exercise, the 76ers get 2. The Celtics would get 3. And the Knicks get 2. Okay, do you count like Julius Randle not playing? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just on this, 76ers get 2, Celtics get 2, and the Bucks get 2. Why would we not get 2? Why would we not get 2? Now that, again, would be taking out Joel Embiid and making it just 1 for the 76ers, but I want Jarrett Allen to make it. Like, Bam's pretty damn good. Can't really argue about that. Huh. That's Zach Lowe. You want to do the West for him real quick?
Yeah.
All right. Scroll down here. The West, and again, this is reset for Zach Lowe. Luka, Shai, Kevin Durant, Jokic, and Kawhi Leonard. No questions on his starters there, right?
Wow. So, well, the real one's LeBron over Kawhi.
Right, but he puts Kawhi in there. Reserves. Anthony Edwards, Steph, Anthony Davis, LeBron, Paul George, Devin Booker, and De'Aaron Fox would be all of them there. James Harden doesn't make it. Probably didn't deserve. Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, and Jamal Murray all would also not make it for the West. I think the West is a lot easier. I don't really know if I have an issue with any of the ones that Zach put there.
What if they do a total just PR stunt and put in Wemby?
They better not. He's not even, like, again, he's not even going to win Rookie of the Year now.
No, he's
going to go to Chet.
He's on the worst team in the West.
Put him. That's why they do all that other crap. That's why they do the rookie. Did they still do the rookie sophomore game or the Rising Stars challenge? Yeah. Do that. Put him in the skills thing. Put somebody. That's fine. He does not deserve to make the All-Star team. Not in the least. All right, let's get to the morning update. We'll talk more Cavs later. Or do you want to do it right now? Why is everybody bringing LeBron back up all of a sudden? Why is that a thing? He's not coming back.
Well, not this year, but
never. He's never coming.
He will.
No, he won't.
Why not? Why not?
He's not coming back.
Why would he not?
Okay, number one, you got to get Bronny James. How are the Cavs going to do that?
Well, so what if he doesn't enter the draft this year?
He's going to enter the draft this year.
Says who?
Says his dad. If LeBron truly wants to play with his son.
LeBron's still got 4 years in the tank.
Yeah.
Do you see how he's playing?
I know. But
and
also,
why would you not want your son to get another year to get his draft stock up?
I think he's going to be a first-round pick anyway. Not lottery, but I think he'll be a first-round pick.
I don't know.
Probably.
I'm not that confident.
I think the heart thing is.
He's not playing that well. USC's not that good.
Oh, I know they're not. But
and I hate to say it, but how much do you think that heart issue plays into it?
I think it factors in because the other thing, when these NBA execs look at it, that has to be brought up.
Yeah, because I mean, as much as you want to mess around and get the name Bronny, I mean, you're talking about a first-round pick.
I guess I would just look at it and say, don't play. Like, if you can do it this year, because LeBron's goal is to play with his son. I think that's very I think it's pretty freaking cool, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to play around anymore. What if he went Aaron Rodgers? And I don't want that to happen. But what happened if LeBron got hurt? If the opportunity presents itself, they need to cash in right now. Cavs can't do that.
So
I don't know if the Lakers can either. I don't know the Lakers draft status or stock.
So do you think Bron, and I think I know the answer here because I think we kind of know the kind of guy LeBron is. Do you think he'd pick playing his son over a really high chance to get a 5th ring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I think so. He's done it all. There's nothing left. He's going to surpass 40,000 here coming up in a little bit. He's got all of his rings.
GOAT?
No, I go Jordan.
Wow.
Okay, dude, now you're gonna.
I'm clipping that.
No. You gotta let me explain myself because now you're just gonna get me all up on this show right now. This goes back to a debate that Danny and Nick and I have had for a long time, and you're gonna join them, and you're gonna call me a freaking loon.
Probably.
LeBron is the greatest basketball player to ever play the game. Michael Jordan's the GOAT.
So explain that.
There's just something about the word GOAT. Like, when I describe the GOAT, Jose Ramirez comes to mind.
But if
like Tom Brady, that's what I'm conditioned.
Right, but then so explain it, because if LeBron's the greatest basketball player of all time,
it's semantics.
But LeBron's the great. Well, then what is Michael Jordan the greatest at? If it's not basketball, because you just said LeBron's the greatest at basketball.
This is so weird for me to say. It's almost like those two guys are incomparable to me. Really, seriously. I think that those two, with respect to Kareem and respect to anybody else.
I mean, it's those two.
Right?
It's not close.
But those two are in their complete own different universe.
Oh my God, Matt, we should one day, because there's gonna be days here where the news isn't that popping. I would love to we spend a day, collect our notes and stuff, and just have a raging debate on that. I think that'd be fun.
It's LeBron. LeBron is the best basketball player in the world ever. But there's just something about Jordan.
But so what does that mean?
I don't know if I can actually truthfully explain it to you. It's weird, and I know it doesn't make sense, and I know you want it to make sense. But the thing is, in my opinion, LeBron is the most physically gifted basketball player we've ever seen.
So and I'm not saying you're wrong to do this, because I know a lot of people do it, but then so we're putting the ring factor into it.
I think there is a little ring factor to it. But also, I think the factor that Jordan did it first. You know what I mean? Like and again, that's respect to Kareem and to anybody, right? To Bill Russell, to Bird, to Magic, and they were all great, and they're all amazing, and they were. Jordan was the first.
So Patty could never surpass Tom Brady.
I don't think so. That is such a great comparison. You're right. There's something about just Tom Brady. And Patrick Mahomes, for my money, is better than Tom Brady, right? Dad, bod, and all. They all got the dad, but not Will Levis, jacked young man.
I love talking about this.
But they're I can't explain. They're just different.
Wait, so Danny and them, they obviously say LeBron.
They think I'm crazy. No. They agree with me. They think it's super weird that LeBron's the GOAT then. And I go, but he's not.
But that doesn't make sense, man.
Do you want to hear something that's super weird? In Time Hop, we had this same exact debate 2 years ago today.
Wow.
2 years ago today.
Flat
it is
circle.
So weird. Time is a flat circle, is it not? I can't explain it. People are going to probably call me a loon in the comment section there on Twitch and on Twitter and YouTube. I don't know. It makes sense in my head. Okay? LeBron is the best basketball player to ever play the game.
So then what is Michael Jordan the best at?
He's the GOAT.
But that doesn't make sense.
He's just there. I think they're incomparable. For two guys that played borderline the same position and almost overlapped eras. I'm not going back to the 50s, right? I'm not going back to some other time.
So here's the thing,
Like,
Matt.
there should be every reason to look at this and look at that. And I think that, yes, Jordan taking the time off for baseball, he would have won another one, I'm pretty sure, in that stretch, and that put him even further ahead. And the rings, I guess that's what I'm saying is, like, Jordan probably is the greatest champion and again, I know Bill Russell won more. I know, I get it. Trust me, I get it. But, like, that's where I don't know. Like, I think LeBron is the best. Like, if you ask me of the best basketball player to ever play the game, I think it's LeBron.
So he's the GOAT.
But he's not. It's Jordan. Like, I know. Trust me, and I'm not doing this just to piss people off.
You're trolling.
I'm not. I swear to God. I wish I could make it make sense to you like it makes sense for me. I just can't. They're separate. They're separate. They just are. They're both great in their own right. And people have that debate ad nauseum. I don't know.
LeBron's done it so much longer.
I know. That's why I'm telling you he's the best basketball player ever. But Michael Jordan's the GOAT. I can't explain it any other way. I really wish I could. I know it sounds crazy. I can't. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
2018 LeBron was the best player I've ever seen in my life.
I know. And then when you talk about not the winning of the rings, but the teams that he freaking drugged to the finals.
Dude.
Would have won a game had it not been for JR. With a cast, and I say this in relative, a bunch of scrubs. That is more important. I've said that to the nth degree. What he did in 14-15, and what he did in 17-18, that's more impressive than when they won the title.
Yeah, I agree.
He took a Matthew Dellavedova team.
Michael Jordan would never do that.
Won multiple games against the Warriors that year. That is almost more impressive than the title. All of that. LeBron is the best basketball player in history.
So he's the GOAT.
Michael Jordan's the GOAT. I can't. It's never gonna work. Trust me.
You're putting statistics and reason behind why LeBron's the greatest.
Oh no,
basketball,
I'm talking about my eyes, man. I'm talking about what I see from LeBron.
Yeah,
and then what I saw of Jordan.
So it's the rings.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Do you want to know the other crazy thing that's gonna just push you even in a worse spot? Nothing will ever change that to me. LeBron could win more rings, and I would still have the take that I have. Let me try to explain it. You're about to throw something at me. Let me try to explain. There's a mystique around Jordan. There's a mystique. There's an aura around Michael Jordan that is impenetrable. There's something around Jordan about him. Maybe it's the shoes.
You're telling me LeBron wins 8 rings.
I'd still have a lot of respect for Michael Jordan. I would.
So even though LeBron would pretty much be better in every statistic, and now you throw in the rings, you're picking Jordan?
Dude, I'm telling you, there's something about just the mystique and the aura about Michael Jordan. It's things that we've never seen. And you want to know something crazy? I don't even know if LeBron has that.
Has what?
The level of Jordan. There's only one other athlete. Again, I'm mincing this up just a little bit. LeBron is the greatest player ever played the game. He is amazing, and he is so good. But would you not agree? Do you understand what I'm talking about with this aura and this thing that I'm talking about with Jordan?
But I think that expands beyond what they do on the court.
I agree with that.
And then so I don't attribute that to a player.
But I'm just talking about like do you get let's start with this. Do you understand what I'm talking about when I say Jordan is up on this pedestal? And there's a mystique around him. Do you understand what I'm talking about from that? Do you get it?
Because he was the first GOAT. Sure.
Right there. There's only one other athlete, in my opinion, that's even close to that is on the same level of this aura, this mystique. There's something around them.
Not Brady? Or is it Brady?
No.
What sport?
Well, if I gave it to you, you'd give it right away.
So then I got to imagine it's like Gretzky?
No.
Oh, we're talking about like putting on a pedestal?
Yeah. There's something that this guy is like Jordan that it's just untouchable and forever will be.
Barry Bonds?
No.
Who?
Eldrick Taunt Woods. Tiger.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Do you get what I'm saying? Right. Those are two guys that, with Tiger all the off the
right, but
whatever.
that's because there's people who have never done what Tiger's done.
But that's kind of my thing with Jordan, where it was
but
like
people have done what Jordan's done.
I know, and that's he didn't even finish as the all-time point leader and all that kind of stuff. I don't know why there's just something around this mystique around Jordan.
My guy switched to baseball.
I know there's a mystique about Jordan that I really think only Tiger is on the level with him.
I agree with the Tiger take. I mean, but that goes back to because there's people who have never done what Tiger's done.
Well,
but
and
there's
like you
people
said,
who have done what Michael Jordan
there
has done.
should be things like Tom Brady should have his own little thing here. You're right. Wayne Gretzky is the great one and all that kind of. I'm mincing words. I'm parsing it up. I'm getting text that I'm gonna ask.
Oh wait, some Twitch. If basketball was a solo sport, then you can argue Jordan, but it's a team sport, and LeBron lifts up his teams. He said it's the boomers' fault.
No, I mean, I there is always that ageist thing too. People, you don't remember this, and you didn't watch back in the day, and you just watched The Last Dance, and you think Jordan's all this, and the pizza game, and what? I get it. And that's the thing. You will always, and that's why I love sports. What do people do? You will always go back to your childhood, and you're gonna go back to the mystique of things and the players that you saw because they mean more to you, right? They mean more to you in a lot of different areas. Do you want to sidebar on something? Talk about mystique things and old school things?
Yeah.
Did you see Chris Mad Dog Russo the other day where he blew up on Dan Campbell?
No.
Did you see it?
No.
I'd like you to pull the clip. You want to do that? We're way late anyway. Let's catch a break. Can you pull this Mad Dog Russo clip for me if I send it to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we were talking about this, and it really is not related to the LeBron versus MJ debate that we were having, but it's talking about the old school thing. Because Mad Dog Russo went off. He got super pissed about Dan Campbell. And I respect, here we go. I respect Mad Dog. Okay? I do. I think he was flat out wrong in something that he said. So I'm going to get you the clip. We're going to play it. You got to bring up this other thing that I was going to prove that I was right about something with a hire in the NFL. Gets all that. Cavs boost still rocking it, Typico. We got time hop to get to. We got it all for you. A lot going on this morning. Stay with us. Big play. Fontana Show. All right, we got a lot to get to on the morning update. Shout out to my guy, Eric, man. I appreciate you, bro. He tweets at Danny. He goes, "Do you hear Matt screwing this up? It's the same debate that you guys had years ago, and he's screwing it all up again." Eric, I know you were there for the first debate that we had a while ago. I appreciate you tuning in this morning, bro. Dude, I know it's crazy. I fully admit, and I know that I'm in the text. All the texts right here are just all my buddies. Like, dude, you're insane. Team Jordan, LeBron is the best career and overall player.
So he's the GOAT.
Jordan's legacy is reliant on boomers being in denial and living on nostalgia.
Facts. That is facts.
They won't accept that their takes suck. Wow, that's a shot at. Okay, I'm not going to read that last part there, but all right, good text. Like, I am a millennial. Okay, I don't remember Jordan. I remember some of it, but watching Last Dance, there's a mystique and an aura about Jordan. I leave that to the side. LeBron's better. LeBron's the best player to ever play the game, so I leave it on that. We have other things that we have to get to here on the morning update, though. Please save me, Ryan. Take it away.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, the Guardians home opener this year is on collision with a really special event, Matt. Do you have any idea what that is?
Should you really use the word collision when we're about to talk about an astrological event here, Ryan? Think about it.
Very true.
Let's just calm down over there.
Alrighty, well, according to this, at 3:13 p.m., Cleveland will experience a total solar eclipse, Matt. This is a once-in-a-generation event. The last time this happened, 1806, 13 years before the birth of Abner Doubleday. The next time this is going to happen, Matt, any guess?
2245.
2444.
Okay, yeah. So 400 years from now, basically. It's a long time. The thing is, and I have this legitimate question, are the solar glasses, because I know they're handing them out at the game, and my mom got some, like, are there standards for this? I want to look at the eclipse. I want to be able to show my son the eclipse. He's 2. I'm not about to also fry his retinas because I got phony bullcrap sunglasses that said that they were good for the eclipse. I need to know. Can we get Neil deGrasse Tyson in here for a second? I need to know what are legitimate solar eclipse glasses. You know, I'm just going to call it for what it is. My mom goes, "Oh, I got them for 99 cents. Mom, I don't know if this, if they're good, they're good. Fantastic. Awesome. Great. I just need to make sure that they're on par, like they're good for trying to view this eclipse." I just always think of the Will Ferrell, Harry Carey. "I took binoculars and I just stared in the sun for an hour." Why would you do that? Well, I guess I'm just curious like a cat. Why your friends call you Whiskers? I just need to make sure these glasses are up on. We're good.
You're a good father.
All right, just making sure. That's all right. But yes, I think it's pretty cool. It's exciting. I know the team's going to be handing out glasses as well, so it'll be fun there for a little home opener action. No.
You sure? Are you positive? 100%? Want me to move on?
Might be the most exciting thing that happens in that ballpark this year. All right.
Anyway, Matt, we didn't really talk about this, and this news didn't necessarily drop yesterday or this morning or anything, but I want to get your opinion on it because we didn't talk about it yet, really. Are you surprised to see Ben Johnson returning to the Lions as the offensive coordinator, as well as Gerard Johnson?
And Slowick, yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting to see how this kind of it turned itself on its head, and we gotta remember this because it's not so much about us. I want Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry to be here for 10 more years and go win all this other kind of stuff, whatever. But there's always these dark horses. Like, dude, we are in a world that both Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick are going to sit out a year. I mentioned Jake Burns, by the way. I think Jake's going to come on this tomorrow. I'm very excited about that. Because Jake had a take about Belichick sitting out. And we differ on it. Because for everybody that thinks Belichick's just going to walk back into the NFL next year or take that Dallas Cowboys job, I don't know, man. Like, he might be done. But anyway, it's, sometimes these interviews can flip, but even just it tells you about some of the top candidates got jobs, right? Like we knew Antonio Pierce was going to keep that job. You knew Gerard Mayo was going to keep that job. But I would say the majority were a little like off the reservation. Like, yeah, everybody was said Ben Johnson, Brian Johnson. And none of those guys are getting those jobs, which is really interesting.
Passing on the Johnsons.
Who was the biggest shocking hire for you? And I almost want to tell you that you can't say Dave Canales in Carolina.
Because that would have been for
sure.
Well,
that one doesn't count because nobody wanted the job.
Maybe the Brian Callahan.
I think that's my answer too.
Because
it
he
really
didn't
is.
call plays in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We know that was Zach Taylor's job, so maybe that was the most surprising.
That was it for me.
Yeah.
It was. Mike McDonald was going to get a job. I just thought he was going to go to Washington. So you put him up in Seattle. Harbaugh, while I didn't call that, I thought, that's not shocking in the very least at all. Canales, we can't put in. I'll give you Raheem Morris, but you did call that.
Yeah.
You did call that he was going to get a head coaching job. So you go back and forth on this, and these teams are doing what? These teams are just like, they're over the moon. But it's also like, what an advantageous position for guys like Bobby Slowick and Draw Johnson. They go through this cycle a little bit, but there's so much pressure, man. If the Texans suck this year, if the Detroit Lions offense takes a crap this year, those guys are going to, the cycle just turns over so fast. And there are guys that get brought up a few times over and over, but again, you only get a couple trips to that buffet, man. You only get to do that a couple of times before you're kind of cast off. You get pulled into the Josh McDaniels of the world and these guys that keep getting brought up and just aren't it. So we'll see where it is next year. And again, for the Browns, you'd really like it if Ken Dorsey next year is a guy that's on some people's lists.
Matt, on Twitch, The Real Cause, he says for the Eclipse, welding helmets.
I got my dad's got one. Okay. All right, good. Thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate that message very much. Thank you.
Alrighty, well, to stay within the coaching
Have you ever
search-
welded anything in your life?
No, not at all.
My dad had an arc welder, so as a good father, he taught his son. So he still has it.
That's a good skill to know.
I never have welded anything since.
It's like learning algebra. It's good to know, but you're never in the hell going to use that.
My mother-in-law and my wife say all the time is like, we made it through another day without trigonometry.
Yep.
And I go, for some people, that's not true, but for some of us, yeah. So
most of us.
He taught us how to weld on a little arc welder. We'll get my son out there. He's almost 3. Time to get a job, get out of here and start doing something.
Yeah. Stop mooching.
Let's do something.
Alrighty, Matt. We'll end the coaching search. We know now that Mike McDonald is leaving the AFC North after helping lead the most dominant defense in football this year. He's taken over there in Seattle as their new head coach as they move on from a longtime regime in Pete Carroll.
I think that's big, but it's also, is he taking Kyle Hamilton with him? Is he like, they still have some really freaking good players on that defense. But the Ravens had a bad offseason. They lost that Horowitz guy. They've now lost Mike McDonald. I mean, all right. And do not tell me that there's not going to be a little squeezing of the boys up there with John Harbaugh. Tell me that entering this season that people are going to be like, all right, man.
It's probably soon to be entering the Tomlin.
It's on him. It's on Lamar. Like, dude, that's starting to get squeezed up there just a little bit with the Ravens. Trust me, I love seeing it because I hate them and I hope they suck. I like John Harbaugh and I like Lamar Jackson a lot. Yeah, Mike McDonald, I mean, a big name guy, dude. He's 30,
youngest coach in the NFL?
36, man. Makes me feel
head
like,
coach,
what the hell am I doing? I'm 34. I should be an offensive coordinator.
Maybe we need you there in Berea.
Something, I'll do it.
All right.
Quarterback coach, I'll do it.
All right, Matt. Well, you're wrong, dead wrong about the Michael Jordan-LeBron debate. So now's your chance to give me a reason where you were right. The Packers get a new DC here, Matt.
So they hired Jeff Hafley. And Jeff Hafley has Ohio State ties. He was formerly there. Then he went to Boston College. Here's my take. And I saw this yesterday from Trey Wallace. Trey Wallace writes for Outkick on Fox. He's their sports writer. And this came from Pete Thamel. Boston College coach Jeff Hafley is leaving a head coaching job in college to go be a DC in the NFL. And Trey writes, numerous assistant college coaches that I've spoken to this week have told me they're burnt out and looking for a way to the NFL, even with a pay cut. Now you've got this news. The game is changing, and a good amount of these guys are just plain tired. I said that, and I bring it up about Vrabel again and again and again. If you have any option of going to the pros or college, why would you go to college?
To party?
I guess. Ruin marriages, I guess. Bobby Petrino and all that.
Whoa!
Just saying. I don't know. We said partying. That's the first thing whatever. There's a special breed of coaches that college gets them going. And that gets their blood flowing on the recruiting and all that. Now the transfer portal, the NIL. Bro, I'm telling you, any college coach that has an option, you're going to the pros. Again, for a pay cut, there's no reason to be in college football right now. It's a bad job to have. Now, there are some guys that are making it. Your Dan Lannings of the world, your Kirby Smarts, your Ryan Days.
Question mark?
ESPN, top 10 portal classes of this offseason.
Got to be number 1 for the Bucks, no?
They were Ole Miss, number 1. Oregon, 2.
Oh, wait, did you say recruiting?
No, portal.
Oh, wow.
And they have Ohio State, 3. That's a little hot take there, I
Yeah.
think. That's a little hot takey right there. There's no reason you'd want to be in college. Again, if you're Dan Lanning, if you're one of these top guys, sure. Like, dude, get out. Get out while you can.
Claus on Twitch says, I'll take a terrible job if it gives me $10 million a year. I'll
Oh,
suffer
sure.
through
I mean, yeah, money grab, sure. I don't think Kalen DeBoer is upset about taking the job that he has in Alabama. But, like, yeah, what Trey was talking about is more kind of these assistants and these guys that are head coaches at Boston College, or you're a head coach at Vanderbilt. You know, you're a solid program. It's a D1 program, but, like, really? You know, it's so much work.
John Wick on Twitch, he says this is a hot take, but I don't necessarily think it is. He says
Oh, no.
NIL has ruined the NCAA.
I agree. I think the NIL, I think the transfer report, like, you have to double your recruiting efforts at a time that recruiting was a pain in the ass anyway. And I bring this up all the time. When you're a Division I coach and you leave to go on the road, when James Franklin, they left State College to come up to Columbus. They get there Friday afternoon. He jumped on a helicopter to have to go fly to a couple of games of his recruits in the greater Columbus area. Then you got to go to bed, get a few hours sleep, and wake up and go play a football game. To then come back Sunday and get re-prepared. And then in the offseason, you can't breathe. You have the recruiting portal. I'm sorry, you have to talk about your regular recruiting, and then you got to go to the transfer portal now all of a sudden. And again, it's for a select few that have the option, because there are a lot that is just that the college is where they're at. But if you had the option, like Mike Vrabel, Ryan, I feel pretty confident saying I don't think Mike Vrabel's ever going to go back to college. Ever. I think he'll take the year off, and he'll be a top candidate for a lot of head coaching opportunities next year. I'm going to scratch that Ohio State thing off right now. And I do believe that there is a stark difference between being a good college coach and being a good pro coach. And I know Pete Carroll's kind of done both, and there's a couple other examples, sure. I think you really fit the mold of one or the other. Mike Vrabel's a good pro coach. I don't know how he do as a head coach in college, but it's just the fact of college, yeah, $10 million a year. But think about that, $10 million, you're talking about the cream of the crop guys. I'm talking about, what do you think Jeff Hafley's salary at Boston College was? No way. No way.
Was he getting the bread?
No. He was only making $400,000 a year.
I'll take that.
I mean, trust me, so would I. But that's my point. Ryan, for a job that will consume you for 18 hours a day, 11 months out of the year, and you got to go schmooze 18-year-old kids and their parents and try to get to, then you got to get in the transfer portal, then you got scandals if you're that way, or you got to deal with the NCAA. Like, no. College not going. And you want to know what? To John Wick's point there, eventually that will bleed into your product. When you don't have top-of-the-line coaches, that's going to bleed into your product. And you are just, dude, the NCAA is staring down the barrel of nothing but a giant group of the haves and a bigger group of the have-nots. And that's all it's going to be. And it's going to be the haves getting into the playoffs and getting top recruits and getting your top coaches. And then there's just this giant pool of your have-nots. And everybody in that group of the have-nots, all they want to do is jump pools over there and get up to the haves.
Alrighty, Matt. Well, lastly here for the morning update. I know we were learning a little bit over time, but Joey from YouTube wants to know, Matt, does the groundhog, will Phil see his shadow tomorrow?
Oh, that's tomorrow. Stinking weasel. I'm more of a Buckeye Chuck guy over Puxatawny, Phil.
Well, it's not Buckeye Chuck. It's Phil that's going to tell us whether or not we're going to have a long winter.
I feel like we've had long winters the last couple of years, have we not?
Nobody really believes in that, do they?
Well, why not?
Okay, so now I see why you think Michael Jordan's the GOAT.
I'm pretty sure that there's the meteorologists actually
really
make the decision. I think so. I think so.
Do we have a Puxatawny Phil expert we can bring on?
We could find one. I don't know. Okay, I'll put it this way. I think we're going to have an early spring because it's just been early winters or late winters for songs. So I think we'll get an early spring. But isn't it funny to see how, like, Ryan, do you remember growing up? Like, we used to have, I guess in my era, like when I was in high school, I was talking about to my mom about this yesterday. And she goes, yeah, something about when you were in high school. And I was in high school from like 04, I graduated in 07. Dude, I had snow days out the ass. We had snow all the time. And now I feel like the last decade, we get like 1, maybe 2 bad storms, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then it's like just cold. Winters are not the same as they were when I was a kid. Just like Michael Jordan. I'm just kidding. Winters aren't the same. I don't know. So I'm going to say we're going to get an early spring. I'm going to have some positivity.
I remember, I think I was a senior, junior in high school. We got a hurricane day.
Did you?
Yeah. Or no, the hurricane day was middle school. Then we got a day off in high school because it was a really bad storm.
It's probably not a story for the air, but it's like I'm bringing this up, and then it'll be. We had a bomb threat issue at Brunswick when I was.
I mean, that's not that far fetched nowadays.
So we had, and I don't want to get into the story because there's probably legal ramifications of all of this.
We don't care about that.
All right. Long story short, there was this kid, and we all know who it was.
Oh, you knew who it was.
Yeah. Oh, and he wanted to get out of a test.
No.
So
he did it to get out of a test?
Oh, no, it gets worse. He paid another student to call in the bomb threats. And this guy he didn't stop. We missed almost a week of school because he just kept calling him over and over and over again. Now, eventually, they found it out. They went after the guy that was calling, but a lot of us were like, wait a minute, go get this other kid that was paying him. You know, whatever. So the long story short on that, we had to come in on our spring break. So there was I want to say like it was around wintertime that they kept doing this. And they told us we used up all of what they called the calamity days, which were meant to be a water main breaks, snow, whatever. And the state went to Brunswick and they said, you're done, you're tapped out. So if you get one more, and at this time they had found out the bomb threat kid. So they said, if you get a storm and you have to cancel school, you're going to have to make up these days. Lo and behold, something like that happened. So the state came to us and they said,
so dumb.
So here's what they did. The week before spring break, we all had to come to school an hour and a half early. And each day of the week, like to make up a first period, you went there on Monday. And then your early time, you went to your second period. And then you would do your regular day of school. They said that was the only way for us to not have to come in over our spring break to make up our time.
Well, what if, well, I guess, okay, then you would just make it up some other time.
Yeah, they would have said, they would have added on a day or something like that. So that's what happened to me in my senior year of high school. That was some crazy times. We had a narc. Come into our school.
Really?
Cop. Yeah, for a drug search, drug bust. That was fun.
Did you get busted?
No.
That's good.
They were everywhere. They brought the dogs, so they would lock down our school. You were in whatever class you were in, you had to stay in there. If you had to go to the bathroom, you had to have an escort to the bathroom. And because the dogs were working, they would come in, they would do the lockers in the school, but then you want to know where they caught everybody? They'd go out and do the parking lot too. Yeah. And if it was on school grounds, your car was on school grounds. And I remember sitting in class and they came in to get somebody. And they pulled them out and they had to go down there and they had to explain whatever, which is kind of whatever.
Wait, but so they could go into people's cars?
Yeah, it was on school grounds.
That's kind of stupid.
I know, trust me, I felt bad. So I'm like, what are we doing? And I know back in the day it wasn't legal and it's going to be sooner. It should be, or I don't know what the hell's going on with that either. But I was like, really? You're going to ruin that kid's life because of a little bit of pot they found in their car? Get the hell out of here. I remember it, though. Brunswick was crazy times.
I remember one time I almost got caught up, but it was for a stupid reason. Like, I mean, we're way up. It doesn't matter. We're way past time.
I'm interested now.
Well, so what happened was, I was a senior in high school, and I think it was like, so there was. It doesn't matter now. Obviously, there was beer in my trunk.
Yeah.
And
ooh,
it was
Ryan, how dare you?
But the reason was, so I was so confused, right? Because I drove. I think we went Black Friday shopping. And I forgot that my friend left his beer in my. Obviously, I wasn't drinking.
Yeah.
But my friend left his beer that he was drinking in my trunk. Okay. So then I forgot it was there, and so I go to school, and apparently, the lady who goes around in the parking lot, like she saw. Which this is why I was mad about it, because my trunk, it was she said it was open, which is not true. If anything, it was barely cracked open, so you just go like that to close it. You
Yeah.
know, she literally had to open it, search to find the beer, and I didn't know that they did that. So I get home, and my dad, he's obviously cool. He's like, what's in your trunk? I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh my God, there's beer in there. He's like, yeah, your principal called me. I just told him it was mine. You're fine. But I'm like, you didn't even bring me into the room to ask me about it. You just called my dad and wait for me to get home.
No, yeah, that's it. Again, I respect teachers and administrators. We need to keep our school safe, but some of that stuff, you're like, all right, fine. You know, come on, what are we doing? All right, you want to catch our final break? We come back, time hop. We got a lot into weird things. We didn't get to Mad Dog Russo and all that, but maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Let's catch time up. We come back. We got our bracket for the most overrated musical artist. We'll remind you of our Tipico boost. We get geared up for the Cavs. And I'm very interested to see the results of our Twitter question thus far. Do you actually care? As a fan, do you care who calls plays for the Browns? We got all that. Stay with us. Big Play, Fontana Show, Twitter, Facebook. We're up on YouTube. And follow us on Twitch as well, at Matt Fontana Show. All right, let's jump in a little bit of time up. February upon us. Happy February, Ryan.
Feels like January was a very long time.
February, a big month. A couple of birthdays for my brothers. Valentine's Day coming up. And, of course, the shortest month of the year.
Black History Month?
Black History Month, very important as well. I used to do that when I was over at K&R. I used to do a factoid of the day. Every day I had a Black History Month factoid of the day, which was a lot of fun. So very important here on the month of February. Let's start. 2 years ago today, Brian Flores files his lawsuit claiming a lot of different things. The one thing was, remember when he said that Bill Belichick texted him instead of Brian Dable, and he goes, "Congrats on the job." Like,
people thought that was a purposeful mistake.
somebody said that. They were like, that was just like
a plan.
Yeah. I mean, and then the only issue that I had with that was, remember Hugh jumped in and back on all that, and he tried to help. And my thing was, I didn't want Hugh to hurt from Brian Flores because I believe a lot of the things that Brian Flores put in that article or in this lawsuit. And I'm thankful that Flores is back in the NFL and has a job. Listen, I don't want to say necessarily with people, but with like organizations, right? And you see a lot of this that's coming out with the WWE and what Vince McMahon and the piece of shit that he is. It's what happened is one thing.
We got to talk about that. Not now, but.
Oh, my God. The Lesnar thing?
Because I heard some stuff.
Oh, my God. It's disgusting. Dude. And the thing is.
A lot of stuff with poop.
Brock Lesnar requested a video of that woman
oh my God,
on the toilet.
Well,
what?
Did you see his texts?
No.
Vince McMahon's?
Oh, yeah, some of them, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's disgusting. And the thing is, I thought that was Chris. Yeah. My brother's buddy's here working today. I thought that was
him. I was like, who'd you just look at?
No, sorry. Derail the show for a second. So when you look at what had happened, that's one thing. But the other part of it is, what are you going to do moving forward to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Or that, like, the same thing with Brian Flores, right? I believe in the things that he's saying. Can you go back and change history? Not necessarily. But what are you going to do to change the future? What are you going to do to put these safeguards in place so this doesn't happen again? And I feel like the NFL, maybe that helped. That was I think the goal for him in the lawsuit, right? Was to you got to first bring attention to it. You got to bring light to what is going on here and expose it. And then understand, what can we do to stop this in the future? What can we do to make sure that this doesn't happen again? And the NFL with the Flores thing, I think they are starting to go in that way. The problem is, like, any organization, there's bad people involved most often than not, right? Everybody's got some sort of scandal. Everybody's got something. It's unfortunate that, you can't really have that in today's day and age. It's just what is what it is. So when I look at it from that standpoint, the NFL will never be perfect. They got to find a way to try to equalize this playing field in a lot of different ways. And I think, let me just put it this way, and I know they're all about optics and things. I just believe that they're committed to it. I hope they really are, but I believe that they're committed to it, so we'll see how it goes. This day, 2019, Kyrie Irving, playing for the Boston Celtics, asked about his future, and he said, quote, "I don't owe anybody shit." He was asked about it in October. So think about this, ask me July 1st is what he said, because that's when he re-signs. Ryan, this is February 1st. He was asked the same thing in October, and he said, "I plan on re-signing here." So in 4 months' time, he went from "I plan on re-signing here" to "I don't owe anybody anything." We got out of the Kyrie business at the right time.
Yeah,
the perfect time of getting out of the Kyrie Irving business. This day, 2019, it was announced that Miami was expected to cut Ryan Tannehill. People thought maybe it makes sense.
I'd say he had a good resurgence for a bit.
A little bit in Tennessee, sure. He had a good run. I mean, number 1 seed. Did they not get that?
They did.
In 2020, I think.
They did.
Yeah. So there you go. This day, 2015, Super Bowl 49. Why they just didn't run the football.
Oh, wait. What's the next? Is the next Super Bowl 58?
58. I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Or 50. Yeah, 58.
Yeah, you're
this
right.
Is
you're
Super
right.
Bowl
Right.
50 or 49. Super Bowl 49
right,
this day, 2015. Why the Seahawks just didn't run the football, we'll never know. Patriots beat Seattle 24-28. Malcolm Butler with the interception on 2nd and goal from the 2 with 24 seconds to play. One of the most famous plays in Super Bowl history.
Gave him the MVP?
Yeah, it did. Another Super Bowl, the Super Bowl 43 back in 2009. Steelers beat the Cardinals 27-23. Ben Roethlisberger had the touchdown to Santonio Holmes with 40 seconds to play to get the win. And James Harrison with the 100-yard interception return to end the first half.
People say the best play in Super Bowl history.
I lost my square. For every step that he took, I lost $1 because I had the square that was perfect on the half, and then he scored that interception return for the touchdown. I lost it on that. Very famously, Super Bowl 38, 2004. Ryan, would you dare guess what this Super Bowl will be remembered for?
2004. Is that Brady?
Oh, it had nothing to do with the game, my friend.
Oh, was that the nip slip?
Yep. That was Janet Jackson, wardrobe malfunction.
Was it her and JT?
JT was the one that ripped it off. Patriots did get to win 32-29 over the Panthers in that one, but yes, everybody knows about the halftime show and very famously Janet Jackson's breast falling out. You think that was
Planned?
everybody said like it looked like she had like makeup on, I don't know, whatever. But it fell out this day 2004. This day, 1981, the NBA All-Star Game at the Richfield Coliseum. The East beats the West 123-120. Would you like the box score from the 81 All-Star Game?
I'd love it.
1981 NBA All-Star Game. The Richfield Coliseum. Your rosters in the West: Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, George Gervin, Jamal Wilkes, Moses Malone, amongst others.
Was Magic on there?
He was not.
Wow.
No, he was not. Eastern Conference: Larry Bird, Dr. J, Nate Archibald, Robert Parrish. Cavs had Mike Mitchell in the game. He scored 14.
Who?
Mike Mitchell.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah. Your MVP for the game was Nate Archibald, Nate Tiny Archibald, as he scored only 9 points. Huh. I don't know why they gave it to him. Dr. J had 18 to lead the East. Leading scorer for the West was Dennis Johnson and Paul Westphal. Both had 19. This day 81 down there at the Westfield Coliseum. This day 1884, the Oxford Dictionary debuted for the first time.
What year?
1884. It's become obsolete. You got your computer now. You got your phone. What's the one word that you misspell the most? What's one word that no matter how much you write it down, no matter how much you try to do it, mine, maintenance. I never remember how to spell maintenance.
So the reason that I'm really good at spelling that is because that was a buzzword in one of the in internships in the industry I used to work with.
Okay.
So it's like maintenance.
I always think it as maintain, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I always screw up maintenance.
A big one's restaurant.
Yeah, restaurant's a tough one.
It's like restaurant.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a tough one there. Very happy birthday to former Cavaliers of the past, Andrew DeClerc. Do you remember Andrew DeClerc? Of course not. Former Indians outfielder Austin Jackson, Browns running back Montario Hardesty, poet Langston Hughes, Lisa Marie Presley, R.I.P., former Blue Jacket Jeff Sanderson, Ronda Rousey, Harry Styles, Clark Gable, Michael C. Hall of Dexter fame, and the late, great Mr. Rick James. I saw Reflog put out the Chappelle,
I did see that.
There it is. Very happy birthday to Rick James. All right, 2 television shows for you today in history. We go back to this day, 2013. This was an extremely popular show that got hit with controversy because their lead man got wrapped up in a lot of scandal off TV.
Oh, I think I know it.
You know what it is?
House of Cards?
House of Cards is correct. Riz loved that show. He was all in. Then Spacey goes down, and then never really watched it beyond that. I've heard good things, but yes, House of Cards.
Guy.
Yes, House of Cards. This day, 2013.
What's your favorite Kevin Spacey role? I'm gonna put one on you that you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's right.
Horrible Bosses.
No, you ready? Jonathan Irons, Call of Duty: Advanced Warfare.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah, I'll listen to that.
Mine is American Beauty, probably.
What's the one? Oh man, acting credits and accolades. I'm gonna pull it up here real quick.
Or
what's the
Usual
one,
Suspects?
Not Usual Suspects. What's the one that he? It's an outer space movie. Oh God, I watched it in I forgot he was in Outbreak. You ever see Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo? Good flick. Iron Will, another great movie we watched in school. He was in that. Oh my God, somebody help me out.
It's a space movie?
Yeah.
Is he a star in it?
Yeah, I think so. K-Pax, that's it. K-Pax. The film tells the story of a psychiatric patient who claims to be an alien from the movie, or from the planet K-Pax. And Kevin Spacey plays the patient. That's it. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. Superman Returns, Lex Luthor, I forgot about that. Not great. The Brandon Routh one, nobody liked it. It was terrible. Yeah, Horrible Bosses. He's got some movies coming out. Sounds like he is still back at acting and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's where I think. All right, next up, final one. Television show, this day, 1982. The star of this show started out as a weatherman, I believe in Indiana. He goes down as Ball State's one of their most famous alumni, is the star of this show. He grew up in Indianapolis. I do know he owns a race team or is a part owner of some race teams. Soon after graduating Ball State in 1969, he began his career as a talk show host, a WNTS in Indianapolis, before flipping over and becoming an anchor and a weatherman, before taking this job and launching, I would say, his stardom on February 1st, 1982.
How many more than that?
He's still around. He's retired from this show. This show was on the air for decades. He's got a Netflix show. If I said the words, my next guest.
My next guest?
Yeah.
No.
Nothing? Nothing.
David Letterman?
That is correct.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
David
wow.
Letterman. I didn't think it was that hard.
Okay.
I didn't think it was that hard.
He's not a big guy for my generation.
Oh, I was a Letterman fan. I mean, again, going back to like the fact that I don't really watch a lot of like
Seems
late
like an
night.
ass.
Oh, I love David Letterman. I think he's great, and I love it.
There was a clip that came out with him and Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, that's what it is. My next guest needs no introduction. That's what he always says.
I don't know.
That's his series on Netflix. I'm waiting for the other season. Dude, they haven't made another. They made a special in 2022. When's my next one coming out?
So was a show just called The David Letterman Show?
Late Night with David Letterman.
Oh, yeah.
Late Night with David Letterman. Debuted this day in 82. So there you go with David Letterman and House of Cards. Let's go. All right, back to our Cavs Moose. Let's go. We're back on it tonight. We missed last night. That's all right. Here we go.
All right.
Quick transition. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw it on you. Here we go. Three-legger for tonight. The Cavs, Memphis Grizzlies. We need under blocks on Jaren Jackson. We need over points on Evan Mobley. And we'll take the Cavs to a nice little money line. Ryan, that pays out to
Plus 280. Throw
All right.
10 on there. Get $28. Let's earn some dinner tonight.
Let's use that code, Fontana100, when you sign up at Tipico. Deposit and bet $25 on whatever you want with that code, Fontana100, and you will get those bonus bets to use on whatever you like for the Cavs tonight. Final thing, our Twitter question this morning, Ryan, which we asked everybody. As a fan of the Browns, do you actually care who calls plays? 59-41, people say no. Earl of Olmsted, unless they ask me to do it, I don't care. Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer says, who says no to this? So his point is that we should care very much on who calls plays for the Cleveland Browns. Again, this came out yesterday from Mary Kay Cabot's article that it's not yet decided for what Kevin Stefanski is going to do, and they're going to spend some time figuring that all out as they talk to Ken Dorsey and get it figured out. I want to promo this. I've talked to Jake Burns of OBR, and Jake is really smart. He's really good at what he does. He does film breakdown. He's going to put this in his article, and that's why we're going to wait for him to come on tomorrow, right? He says we need to hold our horses just a second here on Ken Dorsey. I'm not trying to paint a negative picture, and we're going to have Jake on tomorrow to give his side of things. But what he saw, he doesn't know if it's quite what we've been sold on Ken Dorsey. I can't wait to talk to him tomorrow. Because, I mean, you know, this is big for the Browns. It's an important hire. I want Kevin to, like, back to the question, like, does it matter, Ryan? It has to. It really does. It does. And I'm not saying that this is superseding finding a wide receiver or getting the salary cap back in order or Deshaun Watson, but it's on the list. It's on the list. And I'm not going to say that this is just nothing. It's important. It's a big job. And I'm going to trust the Browns to make the right decisions here. Stefanski and Dorsey collectively to decide who the right play caller is for the Cleveland Browns. We'll figure that out, and I can't wait to talk to Jake Burns about that tomorrow. Final thing for us, Ryan, our bracket.
There we go. We're down to our final format.
How did Beyonce win that?
I'm not a big fan of Beyonce either.
What? Most overrated bands. You see it there. Those are the finals.
The Beatles, 311,
They better win, not
Coldplay,
them.
and Beyonce. So here's the interesting thing, Matt.
Can you go back to the brackets and tell me who did Coldplay beat?
Yeah, I can look real quick.
Scroll down for me there.
So Coldplay beat Taylor Swift,
Okay.
Metallica,
Yeah, right.
and U2.
U2. Okay, I voted U2.
I did as well.
I voted U2. What was our percentages on that?
Coldplay 36.7. U2 was second with 31.3.
Oh, so that was relatively close. Okay.
But here's the thing, Matt. You're going to be really pissed off if 311 wins.
They're not
be
going
really,
to.
you
So,
know,
okay.
And I'm going to be really pissed off if Coldplay wins.
The Beatles will win. The Beatles will go down as overrated. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's my view. Beyonce, okay, so who did Beyonce beat? Did we mess up the seating on this? Tell me who Beyonce beat.
Beyonce beat Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel. You know my
Yeah,
friends.
I know. Yeah,
Eric Clapton. I'm not sure why.
yeah that one.
And see, this is what is going to upset you because you thought this should have won it all. Dave Matthews.
Yes. Wait a minute now.
It was close.
Wait a minute.
It
What
was
what
close.
was the percentage?
Beyonce 42.3. Dave 37.2.
Dave Matthews was like a number one seed in this thing, man. I don't know how Beyonce did it. Huh. You knew the Swifties were not going to let that happen.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely
fine. So there's our finals.
It better not be Coldplay because that's ridiculous.
It better not be 311 because
It's
that's going to be ridiculous.
You know
it's going to
gonna
be the Beatles.
It's going to be 311.
It's going to be the Beatles.
Danny Cunningham's going to hit it with that retweet and say
It's
vote
fake.
311.
It's fake. It's phony. It's going to go Beatles. It's going to go Beatles for the most overrated band of all time. So, sorry to it. Send that award off to them for all the billions that they have and all the money that they got, but it'll be the Beatles. Great stuff. Thursdays. Got anything tonight on Big Play?
No,
We're
I
off
don't
for the
believe
night.
so.
All right, so that's it for us, but you can always go back, get the replay yesterday of bonus time with Bruce Drennan, which is always great. You got Booby's World from a couple nights ago, and then tomorrow, a big day for us on Football Friday. Well, it's Pro Bowl weekend, but still, week off, we're going to have Jake Burns on from the OBR. Jake has a film breakdown, watching some things on Ken Dorsey, so we're going to learn just a little bit on Ken Dorsey tomorrow. We'll get geared up for the weekend as well. We got our Cavs boost going tonight. We are locked and loaded. Appreciate everybody joining us. Great show today. As always, new channel for us on Twitch. I sent the tweet out, so follow us on Twitch. Get a like there. We're also up on Twitter, YouTube, and streaming everywhere. Instagram popping as well, at Matt Fontana Show. Search it. Follow us if you can. And we'll talk to you on a Football Friday. I keep saying Football Friday. It's a Pro Bowl Football Friday.
What, are we going to be betting on the Pro Bowl?
Can we?
Yeah, I think.
We'll see. I got Gatorade colors. I saw that. You can only do that in some props and some books. We'll have to see. We'll line up with Tipico here, see what they got cooked up for the Super Bowl. We got that all coming up. Talk to you on a Friday edition. For Ryan Tyler, I am Matt Fontana. As always, take it easy.